Hi, my name is Ian Nguyen from Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Check out Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Rabble.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Ranger Rabble, the show that digs deeper than Moltor's magma mines and shines brighter than the Corona Aurora jewels themselves.
Just remember, if you're still trying to find the jewels of Overdrive's reputation, good luck. They might still be buried somewhere in 2007. Today's debate: was Power Rangers Operation Overdrive an accomplished adventure or the season that drove the fandom right off the cliff?
We're talking relics, we're talking Rangers, and the time that our Rangers just decided to up and leave.
So buckle up, rev those morphers, and get ready for the ride, because this is Ranger Rabble, and we're going full overdrive. Hey, Zordon, is that a drive lance in your tube, or are you just happy to see us?
Alpha, Rita's escaped. Recruit me a podcast with attitude. Ranger Rabble, we need you. Leo V, Kyle D, may the power protect you. It's morphin' time.
Go, go. Ranger Rabble. Go, go. Ranger Rabble. Rabble, Ranger Rabble.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Ranger Rabble. As always, I'm Leo V.
And I'm Kyle D, and today we are talking about Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, a Disney season that really just fell short of all expectations.
You know, it basically was as disappointing as the theme song we got for this season.
Like 5 fingers reaching for the sky in 5 ways. 5 heroes walking through the sun for 5 days.
It just doesn't slap the way previous seasons of Power Rangers have slapped. And it basically just, other than that weird little clarinet part in the beginning, I don't like it.
So I'm sure I've sent this to you, but there is a artist named Pellick. Shout out to him, and he does a Power Rangers mega mix where he sings pieces of all the theme songs.
I mean, that yell in it was fucking cool, but I mean, I don't know that saves the theme song. I mean, that version is just a little bit faster. It was based off the Sentai Go-Go Sentai Bokenger, which was, I guess, also treasure hunter themed, but I sure hope they did it better than what we got, because it had potential. It was another series that decided to do civilian powers. It felt like every season in the Disney era had some sort of civilian powers that they attempted to have to differentiate themselves from the Sentai, but it didn't actually end up working with the footage that they had. So it was Frankenstein together weirdly.
It was like, I don't remember watching this season when I was younger, mostly because I just thought it was dumb. But like watching it back as an adult, I was like, oh no, this was dumb. This was big dumb stupid.
Yeah, they tried. They really tried. And in 2007, I want to say this came out. I want to say I was a senior in high school, so I kept up on the 15th anniversary episode because I heard big things coming out about that. So other than that, I wasn't fully invested in this season, but rewatching, I can remember why that was.
Yeah, it was a giant letdown, and the savior of the entire season was the 50th anniversary crossover episode with everybody they brought back and all that stuff. But no, it is bad. Okay.
Even the crossover was not done well to a point where it can't salvage a whole season, where Forever Red kind of does for Wild Force.
Forever Red is the greatest crossover episode in the history of mankind, so there's no comparison.
No. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds for you guys, but it means the world to us here at the channel. So smash that button real quick so you don't miss out on any videos here on the channel.
And as always, guys, in every episode we do, at the end of the Rabble, we give out the Golden Morpher. It's basically our way of telling you what we thought was the best part of a specific season. And if you guys want to get involved, in the comments below, you tell us what your personal Golden Morpher would be.
Your phenomenal mentor.
We open up with Indiana Jones. Andrew Hartford, who is running through some temple and finds the crown of the Corona Aurora. And when he finds this, he is greeted by some kind of version of a Sentinel Knight who we'll meet later, but it's kind of like a blurry version of him because he's not powerful yet. But in doing this, he releases Moltor and Flurious, the big bads for the season, and realizes that in looking for this treasure, he has now opened up the Earth to big bad attacks. So he is a billionaire genius.
Playboy philanthropist.
He apparently just has money and spends it running around the world, going on adventures. So on the whole, as a mentor, he's not that interesting. He doesn't necessarily provide a whole lot of wisdom necessarily in terms of looking for any of this stuff. So he's kind of just there.
He wasn't that interesting at all. Not really a good dad either.
You know, he definitely made some choices as a father.
Oh yes, his father.
But it was, let's just say he was new to this.
Yeah.
He was new to the fatherhood game, and it showed terribly.
So now, did he have a connection to the morphing grid, or did
So, the way it is kind of described is that he was able to tap into the universal morphing grid. Now, I'm not sure as to if there is a difference between the universal morphing grid and the regular morphing grid. If the universal one is something that the civilians can tap into, which is how we got Lightspeed Rescue and more like Earth-based created powers, as opposed to the Zordon-based Lost Galaxy, those kind of like exterior morphin grid type situations. But they do display the morphing grid almost as like a tunnel of electricity. So that is at least how it's visually depicted.
Interesting.
So he, of course, being a rich man, has a butler who is our servant, sidekick for this season. And Spencer is a strange form of comedic relief. Anytime they need to put somebody undercover or in disguise, it's always him in a mask, like Mrs. Doubtfire style, dressed as an old lady, trying to pull one over on whoever they're trying to fool. He, I would say, offers more wisdom throughout the season than Mr. Hartford.
So you're saying that Spencer was a nested up disguise?
Yes, he absolutely was. He went to the Pistachio Disguises School of Disguises. When Andrew Hartford let the evil out, it unleashed two forces that were ready to come and destroy anything in their path to get to the crown and jewels. Evil endeavors.
Today we are diving into one of the most underrated sibling rivalries, the icy overlord Flurious and his hot-headed brother Moltor. I'm just going to come right out and say this. Flurious is the cold miser. I'm Mr. Flurious, I'm Mr. Cold. Get the Corona Aurora back from those meddling teenagers. It was cool to see that kind of dynamic in Power Rangers, where it's brother versus brother, and not the good brother versus the bad brother. It's bad brother versus bad brother, because in Power Rangers Ninja Storm, you had good brother versus bad brother.
Right.
Still love Lothar. But Moltor is one of the brothers. He is a volcanic warrior, and he's made of fire, if you couldn't tell by the Moltor.
He's made of liquid hot magma.
Moltor has his lava lizards as his henchmen and cronies. I don't like that.
Yeah, and there's at some point there's also a lava dactyl, so it's like a lava pterodactyl kind of thing, and it's even weirder.
But where there's one brother, there's another brother, and that gives us Flurious the Cold Miser. The literal polar opposite. Polar, ice, brr.
Polar bear.
And he commands his army of chillers, which I don't know if any of our viewers remember Batman and Robin, but they're the hockey team from hell.
You know, I would say that the chillers were not necessarily a fearsome force to fight against. They were kind of just gray and Frozen-esque looking. But all of them are better than Flurious's sidekick Norg, who is basically...
Okay, I loved Norg.
You know, like, it was very painful to sit there and watch sometimes, because, like, clearly not all there. And then you've got fucking Articuno just yelling at him the whole time. If it wasn't for Norg, then Flurious would not have gotten any of the jewels or crown at all. So Flurious was fucking useless the entire season, and Norg was actually the one to progress his storyline.
We also had Camdor, who was cool as hell. He had his little North Face puffer hood on the back of his suit. Personally, I thought it looked cool, and it made him look like a bad guy having that there. Like,
well, I mean, anything he looked like in comparison to Miratrix was gonna look cool, because she was a terrible looking, almost like, I don't want to say it was like like a kimono looking outfit, but like it didn't make sense for them to be treasure hunting dressed the way they were.
and speaking of Miratrix, the hair style.
No. Nope. Ah. Yeah.
It's also cool to know that Miratrix was a human.
Yeah, she just happened to, be in cahoots with Camdor to try to get the corona. Aurora, not virus.
It came out in 2007, so they wouldn't have gotten it then.
Yeah, it was a little too soon.
But they probably got their boosters. And on top of that, we had Thrax.
Good old Thrax.
The apparent son of Rita and Zed.
Fucking bulldog-looking asshole with fucking half a face that looks like he's in a sewer grate.
He looked kind of cool.
It was the, like, weird half-face business that didn't really need to exist. because if you're trying to sell that he's part Rita and part Zed, that's not how genetics would have made a child, you know? Like you're not two different halves of your parents when you come out like that. So like it led to a just kind of confusing looking design. So we also had the Fear Cats, which was another unnecessary faction of evil, which was the only thing that Camdor, Moltres, and Articuno all agreed on was that they all hated the Fear Cats. So the Fear Cats were responsible for causing a whole bunch of destruction on Mercury, the planet Mercury. And while they were there, they ended up running into the Sixth Ranger for the season. He was part of a excavation or like a rescue team. And there was a cave-in caused by the Fear Cats, and the Sixth Ranger sent his team back into the cave because they thought somebody else was still in there, and ended up getting his entire team trapped in a cave-in because the Fear Cats were expecting that. And so the whole season they are basically just playing on his guilt, and he apparently lost his girlfriend in the cave-in, which they turn around later in the season and she miraculously appears with Norg and somehow ends up getting back with the Rangers by the end of the season. Go say, no matter what you say, it's not going to make sense. Stop it. Shut up. So, they were very much responsible for just coming in and causing havoc throughout the season in between our different factions of evil all trying to get the crown and the jewels.
The opening episode too was weird, where he just like chooses these people. You're all going to be Power Rangers. Here's your little morpher thing, phone thing.
Not even that. It's almost like a weird hologram box invitation. So like Willy Wonka, but with holograms.
Oompa loompa doopa dee danger. Please take this box. You'll become Power Rangers.
So he just gave these like golden tickets out to random people who he felt was worthy of being Power Rangers. And, you know, they all had their own individual skills, but I don't know that they would have been like first choice to be Power Rangers. We have Rose, the Pink Ranger, who is super smart. She's some sort of advanced nuclear robotic scientist, and she is given the Pink Ranger power. Then we have Ronnie, the Yellow Ranger, who was a race car driver. And she likes to go fast.
No, Ronnie wasn't a race car driver. Gary was a race car driver.
Oh, Ricky was a race car driver.
No, Ricky Bobby was a race car. Damn it, you win this round.
If you ain't first, you're last. So yeah, she could drive cars fast. That was her superpower. Good job. You're so talented. Then there was Dax. Dax was a disappointment to Blue Rangers everywhere. Dax was a stunt guy in the movies, and because of that, he was fit to be a Power Ranger.
Oh yeah, Dax was the Chad of the group.
Yeah, but not even a good Chad of the group. Like,
No.
if he was gonna be the Chad of the group, then like, okay, cool. But every time he opened his mouth, it was just, oh, shut up, Dax. Stop talking. Stop fucking talking. And then we had the Black Ranger, Will, who was, I don't know what you would call a professional thief, but that's what his title was. And then our Red Ranger was originally supposed to be Andrew Hartford. He was going to step in and be the Red Ranger. And luckily that didn't happen because he would have been the most boring fucking Red Ranger the series has ever had.
Indianapolis Jones.
So the Red Ranger we got was Andrew's son, Mac, who had always longed for an adventurous lifestyle and saw this opportunity and jumped on it faster than a snobby rich kid who has never done anything with his life and needed something to do, so he jumped on an adventure. It made no sense how they could spin their morphers around their hand that many times. Physics doesn't work like that. Gravity doesn't work like that.
There's a simple explanation for that.
And then each one of those, as they became Rangers, was given a civilian power to boost their abilities as a Ranger. So the Red Ranger got super strength. The Black Ranger got enhanced sight and hearing.
Oh, I have a few powers. Night hearing. Dogs understand where I point.
The Blue Ranger could jump really high. The Yellow Ranger could run super fast. And the Pink Ranger went invisible. The civilian powers did not really lend themselves to be used well this season, because when you're using Sentai footage where it doesn't exist, it's hard to have it make sense in the story only when you're unmorphed. So occasionally they would use their powers the way it should have been used, but in theory, no one should have been able to ever sneak up on them because Will should have been able to hear it from the get-go. Rose should have always been a lookout person, invisible and able to radio back when like danger was coming if Will wasn't paying attention with his eyes and ears. Fucking Ronnie should have been able to steal anything that the bad guys had the minute that they stole it from them, or they should have never been able to steal it from them because as soon as they get it, Ronnie runs away. Game over. Mac having super strength. What's the point of having super strength if the bad guys are still stronger than you? Dumb. Dax. Super legs, can go jumpy high. Yay.
There's a simple explanation for that.
No, Gosei, it's not fucking simple. Don't lie to me. So, to fight against our bad guys, our Power Rangers are stocked up with some weapons created by Dr. Smarty Pants McGillicuddy.
Awesome armory.
So they have their overdrive trackers, which are their morphers, and that they can use to scan different objects and let them know if they are scanning high and being potentially connected to the Corona Aurora jewels. And then our sixth Ranger later on has the Mercury Morpher, so that also can scan items, and it's a little push button kind of morpher on his wrist in comparison to the other ones, which were, I guess, little handheld devices that would like pop out at the bottom, almost like a cell phone. Funny enough, they ended up reusing the toy molds recently for a Power Rangers Paw Patrol, or not a Power Rangers, for a Paw Patrol toy. So if you go out and get this Paw Patrol toy, you're essentially getting a Power Rangers Overdrive morpher with some different stickers. They had their blaster, which was a gun that also kind of went into a sword mode. They had the zip shooter, which was a mixture of a zip line, a parachute, a flare, and something to tie up their enemies. So a Swiss Army knife of random gadgets. They have the Defender vest, which was used to absorb all the power put off by the drill blaster, which was a big gun that they used. So the drill blaster had two different forms, so it was like a reversible gun. So one way was the tri-laser that shot like a freezing blast that froze enemies, and the other was a drill head that like shot screwy drill into the bad guys. They each had their individual weapons. So you have the Drive Lance, the Drive Slammer, the Drive Vortex, the Drive Claws, the Drive Geyser, and the Sixth Ranger had the Drive Detector, which had 3 different modes. It could be a lance, it could be a blaster, and it was also a metal detector.
There's a simple explanation for that.
No, stop it, Gosei. The battleizer for this season was the Red Sentinel Ranger. The Sentinel Knight midway through the season showed up in the shape of a sword, and the sword turned into a battleizer. So half of the sword would sit on the front of his chest, and then the blade of the sword would be like up on his wrists, and the center would open up and his face would show up like a big old goofy anime suit of armor, and it just took all of the coolness right out of it. They also had a bunch of different vehicles. So they had the Special Hydro Aero Recon Craft, also known as the Shark, which was basically a Avengers Quinjet that they would use to get around, because with all of his money and connection to the morphing grid, asshole McGee still couldn't get himself teleporting powers for his Power Rangers.
He said asshole McGee.
I'm sorry, does he have a name that's better than that?
Indianapolis Jones.
Oh, well, yeah, Indian Assholeopolis Jones.
Yahtzee.
The Black Ranger exclusively got the Hover Tech Cycle, which was a motorcycle helicopter combination. And then there was the Trans Tech Armor, which was basically imagine a little bomb destroyer robot that they send in, but this one is huge and has like giant claws and lasers and can go up on like 2 legs and fuck shit up real big. None of these weapons were really that exciting. The Zords were no better.
Mecha Madness.
So they were all construction vehicles this season. So the Red Ranger had the dump driver, the Black Ranger had the speed driver, the Blue Ranger had the gyro driver, the Yellow Ranger had the dozer driver, and the Pink Ranger had the sub driver.
I know why they were all construction equipment.
Why?
Because it's a treasure hunting season. So they got to dig for treasure, and they got to go underwater for treasure.
I mean, I'll give you that, but also at the same time, it doesn't make sense for some of these auxiliary Zords that they have. You have the drill driver, the shovel driver, the cement driver, the crane driver, and the sonic streaker. So, like, the main Zords, okay, makes sense as far as, like, doing excavation and things of that nature. Cement driver, fucking shovel driver. Like, if you don't bring a shovel on your fucking excavation, then you're a dum-dum. If you need a whole Zord to be a fucking shovel, you didn't think instead of having a bulldozer and a dump truck at the same time, like, one of them would have been a shovel?
There's a simple explanation for that.
Then we also had the Battle Fleet system, which was 5 Zords that came out almost like a mobilized helicarrier looking situation, and that grew legs and became the Battle Fleet Megazord. Overall, the Zords weren't crazy. The Mercury Ranger got a fire truck and 2 little like police squadron cars that would come together and become the Flashpoint Megazord. So even his individual Zord was not that flashy. Pun intended. The Zords don't really play a big part in the ending of the season, which is always kind of disappointing because I feel like the end Megazord fight is always like a really big, cool way to end it, as opposed to what we got this season. Ice Cube Man was really not doing anything worthwhile at all this whole season. And Norg shows up and gives him pretty much everything he needs to, or at least a good portion of what he needs, because the Rangers had everything else. So the whole time, the bad guys know where the Rangers live, so they can just go knocking on their door with all their forces and just like take over whenever they want. But they basically kidnap they go to take Mac hostage, and Mac is like ready to like sacrifice himself and be like the big hero, and everyone else is like, "No, Mac, we can't sacrifice you. We love you. No, please." They give Frosty the Snowman everything he needs to basically put the crown together and become the big bad of the season. So then the Rangers go to fight him, and they are struggling because he's so powerful. And Mac, because we didn't mention this before, but oh no, surprise! Mac is a robot the whole time. Dun dun dun. So because he's a robot, he realizes, well, I can sacrifice myself and save everybody. So the Rangers let him sacrifice himself to blow up Flurious. So you couldn't let him sacrifice himself before, when it would have avoided him getting all this extra power. But now that he has all this extra power, oh no, I guess we gotta sacrifice him now.
Oh, hang on. Someone's here.
There's a simple explanation for that.
I would say the ending is the bronze morpher for the season. So let's get into the golden morpher.
The Golden Morpher.
I think it's safe to say that the Golden Morpher for this season goes to the 15th anniversary episode.
100%.
The only redeeming factor of the season.
Yeah, and I say redeeming factor, but even in its redeeming factors, boy, there was a lot of bullshit that they threw into this crossover too. I've never had a crossover that made me hate the current team of Rangers more than this one did. So they lose their connection to the universal morphing grid, and the Sentinel Knight calls in an auxiliary team to, step in and kind of protect the world while the other Rangers don't have powers. So he calls on Adam Park from Mighty Morphin, he calls on Tori from Ninja Storm, Kira from Dino Thunder, Xander from Mystic Force, and Bridge from SPD. So it's a great fucking team that he puts together. Xander is kind of so-so, but other than that, like, the rest of the team is badasses in their own right. So it was really cool for them to like have a second go around with a different team.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the process, the other Rangers are going, oh, well, we don't have powers anymore, so we're going to go back to our regular lives because nobody recognizes us as Power Rangers anymore. So that's why you were doing this? Recognition? You could have been helping out with your civilian powers this whole time, running around and stealing all the things back from all the bad guys. Nope. Let's just go back to our regular lives and cry about it.
There's a simple explanation for that.
Yeah, none of these fuckers deserve to be Power Rangers. I don't know. As much as this episode, the 15th anniversary, was great, like I said, it doesn't salvage the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
The Taizan arc was fucking weird. As far as introducing the Sixth Ranger, he was part of the bad guy team at first because they were using him, and then Mac realized that he was still helping people, so he must still be a good guy. and that is what gained his trust. So it was just very strange the way a lot of things came together. Overall, I'm giving this season a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like a 4. And that's just because of the 15th anniversary episode.
The 15th anniversary brought it up from a 2 for me. So it was going to be lower, but luckily they gave Alpha 6 back a regular voice.
How do you feel, Alpha?
That was a wonderful rest.
And it wasn't, "Hey, yo, 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 it's me, Alpha 6 and shit, motherfuckers, what up?"
Now, see, if Alpha talked like that, I would be like, I fuck with that robot.
This season was disappointing, to say the least. So that gives me at least hope for our next episode when we go into what was supposed to again be the end of Power Rangers RPM.
Get in gear!
So this is one of my favorite seasons, and I am super excited to get into this one because it doesn't get enough credit in my book for all of the things that it did right. There was a lot that it did wrong. Don't get me wrong, but did a lot right.
And RPM gave us one of the greatest quotes in Power Rangers as well. The yellow one's the tomboy. You're blue. What do you do? I'm Scottish.
But we'll get into that one next time. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next episode of Ranger Rabble here on the channel.
And a big shout out to all you Rabbleers. You see that? Rabbleers. I like that.
Rabbleers.
For tuning in, rangering up, and keeping the debate hotter than a lava pit in Moltor's cave.
For all of us here at Ranger Rabble, I'm Leo V.
And I'm Kyle D. And well, it's morphin' time. Overdrive! Accelerate! And as always, guys, may the power protect you.
Later. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you have a second, make sure you watch this next video that we're suggesting to you because that's how the algorithm knows that you like what you're watching.